Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a clip of a fat activist saying, "Don't call yourself fat. Some of us are fatter than you." We're also going to be taking a look at a bonus clip of some plus-size poetry and some plus-size affirmations. I love those. So be sure to stick around till the end. I'm sure you've noticed that I got a haircut. My hair was getting a little ridiculously long. I think we can all agree. Looking like a hippie over here. Summer vibes, baby. Please be sure to check out the video I made on my second channel giving an update on the whole JoJo Siwa situation where she's going even further off the rails. Here's a link. Before we proceed, please click the like button so that I may apply comb to mustache.
Okay, so looks like we need to have a discussion about the use of the word fat to describe yourself.
Okay, are we going to talk about this little image here that says, "I look so fat today, I look so fat today," and then you have a picture of... Is that me? How did you get that photo? Did you sneak into my room? Oh wait, no, that's just another guy with a mustache. I'm starting to sound like every other person. Anytime anybody sees anybody with a mustache, they're like, "Is that you, bro?" Although people stopped doing that when I made a joke about people always doing that. Don't stop doing that. It's still funny. You can still say I look like freaking Charlie Chaplin or whatever stupid crap. Whatever, dude. I don't care. Don't stop being weird just because of me, bro.
The use of the word fat to describe yourself.
Okay, well, what was up with that guy with the mustache? We're just not even going to mention that. Okay.
Friends, I am a fat person. I describe myself as fat. I view it as a morally neutral word. However...
Are you perpetually sick? I mean, I'm not one to talk. Lately, I've been having colds left and right, but
A majority of the world does not. A majority of the world uses the word fat as a negative thing because they believe that fatness is inherently bad.
So when we call ourselves fat, it might be confusing to a lot of people then, right? You just admitted that everybody else uses it negatively. You and your body positive cronies are the only ones that are trying to spin it around and make it a positive thing.
When people use the word fat to describe themselves in a negative manner, what they are usually saying is they are not comfortable with how their body is looking.
Okay.
However, if you do so and you're actually not fat...
Now we're getting into silly territory. Who's the judge of who is fat and who is not?
It is harmful to people who actually are.
Okay, she's trying to make the point that if you are not fat and you call yourself fat, it is harmful to people that actually are fat, but fat is very subjective. Just because there are people that are fatter than myself does not mean that I am also not fat. And if you are a larger person and you see somebody that is smaller than you calling themselves fat, they might also be fat and you're just fatter than them. I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but it's a pill that we all need to swallow. Just because we are fatter than this other person does not mean that they are also not fat. We might just be exceedingly fat. And you get used to your own size. When I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now, I didn't even notice that I was fat at all. So I can see the delulu starting to play in a lot of people's minds. Wait a minute, you're smaller than me. You're not fat. I'm not fat. As we've said multiple times though, there are levels to this shit.
And I actually had a personal experience with this recently, and I want to talk about it and share the impact that it had on me. So I was with a group, and there was one particular person in the group who used the word fat to describe themselves.
Did they use it in a happy and neutral term though? I am fat. I am neither happy nor sad about this fact. It's very much neutral.
And their partner too. In a negative manner. They said that they would never be able to wear a tight-fitting dress because of how fat they were. Now,
okay, is that really using the term fat in a negative way? If you physically cannot fit into this garment and you're like, "I'm too fat to fit in the garment." I'm calling that neutral. I'm calling that a neutral usage of the word, right? If these socks are too small for my foot, I don't think that's negative. I don't hate socks. I don't hate my foot. I just need a bigger sock. Right? I can't fit into that dress because I'm too fat. Isn't that neutral? I'm not having any kind of emotions about it or whatever. I mean, I just need a bigger dress.
Oh yes, they said this in my presence.
And so, we're not allowed to talk about how fat we are around you? Oh, don't talk about how you're fat because this person will get all butthurt.
And they are not fat in the least bit. They're...
Okay, see, this is where things are getting silly. You can't be the judge of that. Just like you don't want somebody telling you, hey, you are fat, you can't go around telling somebody else, hey, you are not fat. People are allowed to have their own opinion of their own body. And like I said, just because you're larger than that person doesn't mean that they are also not fat.
Very much a straight-sized person. So at first, what I tried to do was to deflect the situation and say, well, I mean, I own lots of dresses that are like that because everybody can see I am a fat person.
Okay.
And my friend, bless her, said, well, I just wouldn't feel comfortable wearing something like that, which totally understandable. And that is probably a more accurate description of how the other person felt. But no, they doubled down and said, well, I'm just too fat to wear that.
Well, what's the difference? I wouldn't feel comfortable wearing that. I'm too fat to wear that. Use whatever language you like to describe your body and your situation.
And I'm going to be honest, folks, it really did upset me in that moment. I almost left the room and I almost started crying because the first thought when she did that was, if she thinks she's fat and she is disgusted with herself, what must she think about me? An actual living, breathing fat person.
If you want to be happy, you're going to have to let people complain about themselves without you trying to internalize it and make it about you. Personally, I think it is a little rude to call yourself fat when there's somebody larger than you sitting right next to you. Even if you are insecure and whatnot, your eyes probably work. You can probably see this person is larger. I wouldn't do that personally. Maybe there is a little bit of passive aggressiveness there.
If she does not like her thin, straight-sized body and thinks that she is fat, God only knows what she must think about me.
Who gives a shit what she thinks about you or anything else? Here, let me help you out a little bit. Fuck what she thinks about anything. Ever. Fuck that stupid bitch right in her face. Okay, there you go. You're welcome. You're free now. I'm not gonna stop whispering. I'm not gonna stop whispering. Well, if she thinks that about herself, what does she think about me? Who gives a fuck? Fuck what she thinks about you, dude. And I'm just saying that in the sense that you shouldn't really give a crap what anybody thinks about you, right? You can't control what people say to you, but you can control how you react to it.
Not only that, it made me wonder how she treats fat people in her life, like actual fat people.
Really? You thought all that? That's weird. Well, you're a fat person in her life. How does she treat you? Probably like she treats anybody else.
Does she look at them with disdain? Does she treat them worse because they're fat?
Who cares if she looks at anybody with disdain? Mind your business.
So then I had to stop. And I took a breath. And I...
A very labored breath. I'm sorry. These are just jokes, folks. Calm down, okay? Settle down.
remembered that this is probably not about you. This is about her and her own insecurities.
Nah, it's about you. Kate has had it out for you for a long time, man. Oh my gosh. I don't think this friendship should continue.
And this is how it's coming out, in her calling herself fat in a negative way. Now, I had two options in that moment. I could try and educate, or I could just let it go.
Please, God, tell me she went with the try to educate option, please.
And move the conversation along. And it wasn't the time or place to educate.
Oh.
So I just did some deep breathing.
Oh, come on. You didn't educate that moron? Man.
And the conversation passed. Now, if this was a friend...
Dude. I'm just picturing this in my head right now. Okay, so is that really how it went down? Instead of educating her, you just did some deep breathing and let the moment pass? Oh man, I feel so fat. I'm never gonna fit into those pants. Yeah, dude, I just feel like no matter what I do, I'll never lose. Whoa! Are you okay, dude? Are you hyperventilating? No, I just... You called yourself fat. Hold on, give me a minute. All right, dude. Okay, it's gonna be all right. It was just language that I used to describe my own body. I mean, it's gonna be okay. Just give me a minute. Let's just let this moment pass. How many minutes did this breathing go on?
And I would have done some education if this was somebody I knew a little better. If we were alone, just the two of us, yeah, maybe I would have tried.
Okay. So you don't have the cojones to educate people in public. I'm taking away your fat acceptance card.
But it just wasn't the time and place, so I let it be. But I have been fortunate enough to do a lot of work, to do education on fat liberation and body positivity, and understand what people actually mean when they say stuff like this.
Okay, what did she actually mean?
But other people don't. So when you go into the world and you call yourself fat in a negative manner, you make other people feel like crap. Even though it doesn't have anything to do with the other people, even though it's your own insecurities, that's what it does.
Well, like I said, if there's somebody larger than you sitting next to you, you shouldn't call yourself fat. It could come off as passive-aggressive and rude. Right, I think we can all agree with that. If I'm sitting next to somebody who's larger than me, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, I am so fat. I can see that this person is larger than me. Even if I have my own issues and I think that I am also fat, I can see that this person is fatter than I. So personally, I wouldn't call myself fat around people.
And yeah, you might create a bonding moment between another person who also uses that word to describe themselves in a negative way. Yeah, you might also bond with another person who...
What if I call myself fat in a positive way around people that are fatter than me? Yo, dude, I feel so fat. And that's dope as hell. I love it. Can I say that around somebody that's larger than me? Dude, I'm so fat, it's sweet as hell. You must really be living it up, homie. Yeah, that's right. Fist bump. You're even more liberated than myself, my friend. Yes, this is amazing.
Also has body image issues, but you are also doing harm when you say those things. And yeah, that's not your intention, but that is the impact. You impact people with your words. And
no, I don't.
And we need to remember that. I've already seen a lot of people come to that first creator's defense of his using the word fat to describe himself in a...
Oh, the guy in the beginning with the mustache and the glasses. Yeah, we never really mentioned him. That was weird and rude. At least mention the guy.
Negative manner. And I just need people to actually listen to fat folks when we talk about this.
I've been trying to listen to you guys for quite a while. It's not that easy. You have to understand the amount of brain damage that this type of rhetoric is causing me.
Otherwise, if you call yourselves fat in a negative manner in our presence, we might just agree with you.
Alright, I have a lot of dumb jokes to make, but I do see her point. I don't want to just keep reiterating the same points that I just made countless times. But basically, you're allowed to feel bad about yourself, and you're allowed to call yourself fat. Personally, I wouldn't call myself fat around somebody that's fatter than me. I can see they're fatter than me. It comes off as passive-aggressive. And I've seen people being passive-aggressive to each other in that manner before, on purpose. So I do see her point. Now we're going to be taking a look at some good old-fashioned fat slam poetry, which is my favorite genre of poetry.
Fat girl, too big. Fat girl, pretty face, but not body. Fat girl, talented, but not what the industry is looking for. Fat girl, not fat enough.
Fat girl can't speak in complete sentences.
Fat girl, not the right type of fat girl.
Fat girl, speak like caveman. Me Tarzan, you Jane, you fat Jane. I'm not calling this person fat, she called herself fat.
Fat girl, boring. Fat girl, no personality. Fat girl, not funny enough. Fat girl takes too long to get ready. Fat girl looks sloppy and unpolished.
This is an interesting poetry style. It's like a haiku without any order. Leaves fall from the trees. Unfortunately, I'm fat. It's a nice day, though. I call that haiku a fat summer's day.
Fat girl hates going shopping. Actually, fat girl hates walking around the mall for 6 hours watching her friends try on clothes.
Mustached man loves fat poetry. Mustached man watches poetry and has a good laugh. Mustached man feels all sorts of emotions, or whatever you call it, deep within.
Fat girl has a story. But not a story worth listening to. Fat girl's assumed to eat bad, not exercise, not take care of herself. Fat girl gets dirty looks at the gym. Almost to say, you're dirtying up the place.
You could really read a lot into a look. You walk into the gym and people look at you like this, and you're reading into that to mean you're really dirtying up the place. That's a very specific and bizarre thing to think. That's way too specific. I could see that in your eye. You looked at me like, wow, you're filthing up this joint. My eye said all that? Oh, gee.
Fat girl is the punchline of your joke. Fat girl grows up with movies like The Duff, where the fat girl is in fact nowhere near a fat girl. Fat girl lives your worst nightmares.
Oh yeah, the fat people in the movies back in the day were not even considered chubby today.
Fat girl is anxious, tired of being stared at, except for right now.
Oh boy.
But one day, fat girl starts speaking a little louder, starts relaxing in her seat, stops apologizing for needing more space. She'd like you to scoot over or not choose the seat directly next to her. Fat girl is loud and her voice is deep.
She would like you to not choose the seat next to her. Thin man sits on the bus. Thin man doesn't want to be crushed by a fat girl. Thin man is just trying to mind his own business and get from point A to point B.
Fat girl, not her fault. Fat girl, nothing wrong with her. Fat girl is interesting.
Fat girl, not her fault. Fat girl, nothing is wrong with her. Okay, are those society's judgments about you, or?
Artist, a creative, an empath.
An empath, oh boy. Ah, jeez.
Fat girl's not afraid to be in love. Fat girl, not afraid. Fat girl may not be pretty to you, but to me she's beautiful, and to about 25 other men in her DMs.
Okay, we're trying to brag because men want to do you. I don't think that's brag-worthy. And I'm not trying to be mean. It's just that, I mean, come on, dude. We've seen people who are 700 pounds find a dude. There is a mentally deranged man out there for everyone.
Fat girl is proud of her fat, of who she is. Every pound a witness.
So proud of it that she just made this entire spiel complaining about the way that society treats her and views her. This whole display is just insecurity.
Testimony of just how strong she truly is. Fat girl is me. Thank you.
Ow! About time you let loose, fat girl. Alright, so that was great. I always love myself some slam poetry. Something about like when people try to be all artistic and deep really makes me laugh. I can't take a human being seriously. There's not a human being on this planet that I can take seriously in any sort of artistic capacity. I'm sorry. That style of poetry I always find to be hilarious. Next. I've saved the best for last, and here we're going to take a look at some affirmations for fat/plus size people.
Hello. These
Hello.
are affirmations for all my fat plus size people.
Thank you.
Say them with me. I am my own standard.
I am my own standard.
My needs are just as important as everyone else's.
My needs are way more important than everybody else's. Oh wait, is that what you said?
My body deserves kindness.
My body deserves kindness and is a wonderland.
My body is not a problem to be solved.
My body is not a problem to be solved.
I'm sorry, body, for being so cruel to you.
I am sorry, body, for being so cruel to you. I know she means that in the context of dieting and exercising, but it's actually ironic. It's actually cruel to your body to become obese and be all unhealthy. It's not cruel to your body to diet and exercise, homie.
Happiness isn't a size. Good job. I love you.
Alright, I love you too, but that was weird. I'm sorry, body, for eating right and exercising. That was really messed up. I shouldn't have put you through all that. I should have eaten a bunch of highly processed food and laid on the couch until I became so obese that I couldn't breathe without an oxygen tube. That's real self-care. So what do you think of the clips that we just saw? Should you not call yourself fat around people that are fatter than you? Did you enjoy the fat slam poetry? And what do you think of the plus-sized affirmations that we just witnessed? Leave a comment below. Happy Thursday, everybody. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.